Warning! This review is of the infamous 1978 film I Spit on Your Grave, and as such, the film itself is obviously the focus of the video. While clearly listed under horror, general viewers and even fans of horror may not be prepared for what is presented here. This is not fun horror. This is not backflipping cyborg ninjas shotgunning zombie demons from planet Zippity-Doo. This is horror meant to cause genuine feelings of horror in the audience. The themes explored here at great length involve not only death and violence, but sexual assault up to and including rape. Lots of it. Be warned. The presentation will be heavily edited and censored to not only comply with YouTube's community guidelines, but my own sensibilities for the kind of movie review show I want to present. If the topics of this movie are more than you can handle, it is perfectly fine to not watch it. Furthermore, if you intend to track down and watch the actual movie at some point, I will point out right now that you should do so with caution. Make sure not only you are able to handle what is presented here, but everyone present as well. Thank you, and please enjoy the video. Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality who may have made some mistakes in his life. Such as in my review of Moontrap: Target Earth. It stars Sarah Butler, front and center, and it's the only Sarah Butler movie I've ever reviewed, so if you're going by my show and nothing else, you might end up thinking that woman simply can't act. But she's actually known as a pretty damn good actress, it's just that I've never seen anything else that she was in, so I figured I'd fix that, and she is most well known for the starring role in the 2010 remake of I Spit on Your Grave. But of course that is a remake. Which means in order to properly assess the qualities of that, I'd be doing myself a disservice not to track down the original 1978 film of the same name. Written and directed by Mir Zarchi, this movie has the unmistakable distinction of being banned. A lot. I mean, not anymore. Mostly. But critics loathed this movie upon its release, saying that it glorified things like rape and violence against women, and Siskel and Ebert especially said that this is one of the worst movies ever made, if not the very worst, due to its misogyny. Of course, Ebert also said the original Friday the 13th was misogynistic, so... To get into the nitty-gritty, I Spit on Your Grave, also known as Day of the Woman, is about a writer named Jennifer who heads off to the country for the summer in order to work on a novel. However, a group of men with absolutely no sense of shame or empathy, they do some really bad stuff. Which means Jennifer has more than enough horror justification credits saved up to track down every last one of them and murder the fuck out of them! But of course, it's not just the plot that makes the movie, it's the writing, the acting, the cinematography, the music! Not so much on that last one in this movie. But anyway, let's take a look at I Spit on Your Grave. As long as you can handle it. The story begins in New York City for about a minute because our lead, Jennifer, played by Camille Keaton, is heading out to the country right the fuck away. And there's no soundtrack. Well, I mean, technically there is. There is a track of audio playing in the movie, and it has sound in it, but not like music. There is no music to set the scenes at all. If it doesn't exist in the world, we're not hearing it, and I guess Jennifer is just sick of that shit on the radio too. Heading to her new summer home considerably off the beaten path, she stops for some gas, and here we are introduced to three new characters. Stanley and Andy, played by Anthony Nichols, and Gunther Kleeman, and the gas station attendant Johnny, played by Aaron Tabor. The two guys in the back are playing a game of knife stretch something, while Jennifer enjoys a little small talk about her new summer home that she bought, evidently without even coming down to see it first.
Bet you're gonna like it here.
I intend to.
In fact, I bet you're gonna like it so well you stay year-round.
They all seem nice and unassuming. Nothing really scary happens for a while. It really comes off more like a slice-of-life film. The first hint that things might turn even slightly dangerous is when Jennifer unpacks her clothes, but they can't quite fit in the drawer. This is because she just so happens to have a CZ-27 stashed away in there. Nowhere to carry that on her current outfit, though, and there's a knock at the door.
Your order, ma'am.
From the grocery store delivery service. Honestly, that does scare the hell out of me. How the hell do you know you're getting the good milk and eggs if you're not there to check on them? This guy would be Matthew, played by Richard Pace. He's a local grocer, delivery man, and not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Where I come from, people weren't that enthusiastic about their place.
Where's that? New York City?
Mm-hmm.
You come from an evil place.
I've heard about New York. Killers roam the streets, and they quack like ducks. She tells him about how she's a writer who has made many short stories published in women's magazines, but has come out here all alone to work on her first novel. Seems he's more concerned about something else, though.
You got a boyfriend?
I have many boyfriends.
Could I be your friend?
Sure.
That's right. Now run along. I have to go pack my bags and get the fuck back to New York. With his newfound friendship, Matthew heads on over to his other friends, the same three guys we saw earlier, and wastes no time getting to the important stuff.
I saw tits. I really did.
Oh dear God, he's a South Park 6th grader. He then wants to go out to see some movies, or go bowling. Evidently, he's about as insistent about this as some other motherfucker you may know, as nobody wants to do anything he's come up with. So instead, they head out to the river, fishing late into the night, where it seems they also forgot to bring around the slightly better quality microphone. They still manage to keep the conversation going, while Matthew is off taking a shit, by talking about women. The big-boobed, super sexy women, and the mysteries they hold.
I wonder if they gotta take a shit too. Hey, all women shit. Women are full of shit. Not my mother. My sister is.
Ah shit, these shits won't talk about shit but shit. What is this shit? I shit on your grave?
Oh man, cut out the shit talk.
Refraining from further poop, they stick to the topic of ladies. How Matthew there is a virgin, but seems smitten with the new New Yorker in town. This, of course, results in them laughing at him for thinking there's anything special about the lady. She's from New York, and they figure all those girls are easy.
One day I'm gonna go to New York and fuck all the broads there. I'm gonna do the same in California. Why California?
Well, it is the home of In-N-Out. While they while away the hours with mythical stories of the fairy tale creature known as woman, Jennifer is doing her best to combine hard work and relaxation, sunbathing in a hammock while writing her novel. Unfortunately, despite how hard she's worked to make this work as relaxing as possible, these guys have figured out the most effective way to fuck it all up. And they keep this up for like a minute of runtime, with the sound mixing making the engine noise loud as hell. I'd say it does a good job of showing just how god-awful annoying this is. Ah well, after the day is done, and she types out her writings for the day, she can relax in bed. Or not. Damn annoying neighbors, ruining my sleep only slightly less than the fucking annoying set lighting. For some reason, she doesn't grab her gun when she gets up to check on the noise, and honestly, this scene is surprisingly suspenseful. Yeah, there's still no music to speak of, but actually that works. No music means no music cues to tell you how you're supposed to feel. It's down to the cinematography to get you creeped out, and it's all the more worrying now without that big hint as to what's about to happen. Just like that. No one could have guessed at all that she was just gonna walk away and close the door. Still horror. As we clearly see the next day, as she's relaxing out on the water, when Stanley and Andy come by on their motorboat again. Grabbing the rope, they drag her off, against her will, far, far away from home. And, well, if you're expecting me to show the clips in the movie for what is about to happen, I've got bad news. That's not happening. But if you are hoping to sleep tonight, I have good news. I'm not going to be showing the clips of what's about to happen in this movie. But of course, I do want to express the plot and events in a way that everyone understands what they're getting into with this movie. So, with that in mind, I present to you visual aids. So these two assholes drag Jennifer's boat all the way to the edge of the forest and then begin to immediately get very aggressive with her. She does run, but ends up running into another man, Johnny, and it takes mere seconds before we realize that he's not here to help, and before we know it, she's surrounded. And then they start to beat her and tear her bikini off. Not really going to give you so many visual aids for that one because it's already far more uncomfortable than I'd like. But I do have a very carefully edited clip coming up because, you see, after they pin her down...
Broad's all yours, come on!
Not now. Not now.
Fucking asshole, we got it for you, come on!
It turns out this was all orchestrated at the behest of Matthew! Dear God, you went from charmingly stupid to me wanting to see you die in the most gruesome of ways in record time there. Anyway, brace yourselves, or go get a drink. Or stop watching is also still an option if you must. Matthew doesn't go through with it, but he doesn't get cold feet so much as just slightly chilled feet. Johnny instead gets him the help, hold her down, and then yeah, there is no way in hell I can make this scene comfortable or entertaining. The filmmakers are going for horror, and dear God, they succeeded. Okay, so that's done. And the guys managed to leave her alone long enough that she runs off into the woods. And no, we're not going back to the movie clips yet because it's not over. Dear fucking God, it's not over. On her long, painful, and humiliating way home, they surround her again. You can guess what happens. Now, I don't mean to make light of the situation. It's a terrifying, horrible thing. But this is a movie, they are actors, they are acting, and their acting ranges. Kumail's performance here is very believable and terrifying. The attacker this time is Andy, and Gunter's performance? Well, how did the doll touch you? And I wish I could say that was the end of it, but remember, this is a review of I Spit on Your Grave. So don't get your hopes up when the group of assholes leave her again. Their first order of business is to grab her boat and bikini, leaving it all adrift in the river as they head off. Thus, Jennifer has to finish walking all the way back home, where they are all waiting for her. And I think I've explained enough of how this goes. I really don't have to get into too much detail. So to make it short and simple, they steal her alcohol, tear up her work, and this time, him and him. With that half-goddamn hour finally over with, now they figure, hey, that was pretty bad. Better kill her just to be safe.
Why are we doing this? We got what we wanted. Come on, asshole. If she's dead, she can't point a finger at us.
Or her gun? Could point that. They convince Matthew to go in there and give her a nice deep stab in the heart. Not sure if they want to be thorough or poetic there. Thing is, Matthew might have just conspired to and committed absolutely heinous acts, but murder seems to be where he draws the line, so he carefully coats the blade in some of Jennifer's spare blood that she's already covered with at this point, managing to convince the guys he did it without actually having to go through with that. That means she lives. And after a montage of some very painful recovery, she gets back to setting things right. However, it's been a while, and now the guys are starting to worry.
You know what 2 weeks like that does to a dead body? The body will decompose.
And you know that didn't happen because the movie didn't spend 30 minutes showing us in great detail. Johnny thinks despite how low density this town is, a stank-ass dead body would probably have been noticed by now, leaving them to wonder if Matthew fucked this up.
I stabbed him. I did. There was blood all over. I had to jump over the puddle.
Here you are.
Jesus Christ, that's like when you get a trophy for failing a speech check. Johnny's not convinced, but the other two cronies never bother to go down there and scope the place out, so he convinces them to do a little recon mission down the river and report back what they see. Pretty easy mission. They see Jennifer by the riverbank, very much still alive.
Idiot! God damn you! No! Prick under the prick! Bitch! Fucking asshole! Wait! No! Jerk!
Well, so much for that ice cream. Therefore, he's lost his friends. Allow me to play the world's smallest violin. On the plus side, Jenny's got a gun. What does she intend to do with it? What we all want her to do. But first, better get some preemptive spiritual cleansing. Like resolve, but for murder.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
Which Ebert is quoted as describing as unbelievably grotesque and inappropriate. Yeah, her asking forgiveness at a church, that's the grotesque thing in this movie. Now that she's in slightly better graces with God, Jennifer heads out to scope out the gas station, calculating the perfect time to strike her prey. But then...
Daddy! Daddy!
Hey!
Daddy, tell him to give me back my dollar. He stole my dollar.
We're just showing Johnny's a family man with 2 kids. Great. Movie. You just showed him doing the most heinous things. Don't humanize him. I want to enjoy Jennifer slowly flaying his skin with salted pruning scissors. However, Jennifer does take note that Matthew still has that job delivering groceries, so with quick thinking, she orders a couple of bags worth to be delivered to her home, which Matthew knows means trouble. No bother, he's done enough evil already, may as well steal a knife to take with him. But their confrontation might not be that simple.
You came super fast, Matthew.
She actually doesn't just shoot him, although she easily could. Instead, she tempts him to follow her into the woods. Mostly naked, which means I really can't show this either. Oh well, better get the dolls again. Oh, put down that knife, Matthew. It's you that I want. Okay. Die, motherfucker! Die! 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 She puts a rope around his neck and hangs him from a tree with his pants off. And herself mostly naked. Dumping his body into the river, she disposes of the bike and groceries, covering her traps by calling the store to let them know, hey, it's been ages and the delivery man still hasn't shown up. How strange. Now on to her next target, Johnny. She comes around when the station closes on Sunday and says nothing, allowing him to make whatever assumption he wants.
I knew you were gonna like it here.
Yes, get in so that she can gut you like a fish. Fish with kids. Oh, well, it's time to pay the piper, Marlin. I guess Matthew also wasn't that dumb compared to the rest of the group because Jennifer easily managed to get Johnny to come with as she drives them both deep into the woods, which he assumes is for some copulation, because he's an idiot.
You're kidding.
Who would have guessed that she would have been upset at all? Oh yeah, me. I was the one who told Matthew to kill her. Oh well. At gunpoint, she demands he strip right now!
I don't like women giving me orders.
Well, how's about a 32 ACP? Listen to that? This gets him to strip, and he does. Cock and balls and everything on display. If I wouldn't so selectively edit this, that is. He pleads his case that, hey, you showing up with the audacity to have legs and hair, well, you were just asking for it. Really not making a great argument here. But while Jennifer could just shoot him right now, that would be too easy. Both for her to do and for me to edit. They head back to her place for a hot bath. Butt-ass naked. Really can't show that, but here's a little reenactment of what goes on. Which is followed by possibly the best scene in the movie. After she locks him in the bathroom, she calmly goes downstairs and puts on some music, all the while he's screaming and bleeding all over the place.
Stop, oh no, stop. Yes. Oh, it won't stop bleeding. It won't stop bleeding!
Such beautiful sounds. Music's nice too. On the downside, dealing with his dead ass is a bit more time-consuming. Burning his clothes, cleaning up all that blood, and figuring out what the hell to do with the body. Oh yeah, and that family's still kicking around, wondering where the hell he's run off to.
He's loyal to me. He's a good father and a good husband.
And you are a terrible judge of character. So his wife, played by Alexis Magnotti, collects the 2 kids, played by Tammy and Terry Zarchi, and chase the remaining characters off because the fuck are they gonna do loitering here not knowing where the hell Johnny is? Oh well, I guess they figure it's climax time because Andy grabs an axe while Stanley takes them by boat outside Jennifer's place. However, when Stanley closes in, she's disappeared.
I scared you, didn't I?
I don't blame you. I'd be scared too if someone I wronged just murdered all my friends. Stanley says Andy's back at town, so Jennifer shoves him off the boat and starts riding around him, preventing him from going anywhere until Andy finally shows himself. am I getting the feeling I picked Matthew to kill her because he was the most capable of pulling it off? Now with a boat and an axe, Jennifer speeds their way, cleaving Andy in the back, killing him peculiarly fast. With no one left alive but Stanley, he tries bargaining, saying it was all Johnny's idea, but Jennifer remembers that's not what he said when it was going on.
Suck it, bitch.
Gee, here's a woman who clearly wants me dead and just murdered my friend in front of me. Better put my crotch up against this motor. Seems like a good spot. With the last man down, Jennifer rides off into the horizon. And the credits roll. Well, then, that's the end, I guess. Whew, made it. Anyway, that was I Spit on Your Grave, and boy, was that an ordeal to get through. Horror made to legitimately horrify can be like that, but to say this movie is not for the faint of heart is putting it a lot lighter than you might think. Unfortunately, it might be one of those movies that you really have to see before you understand what you're getting yourself into. However, I'm not gonna knock a horror movie for making me feel uneasy. It's a very, very dark subject matter, and while there are ways to depict it in film that lighten the blow, is that really what you would want? Or perhaps is showing the gruesome and grisly acts that you want to be over as soon as possible for a goddamn half hour the better way to get the audience to really understand the gravity of it? Either way, I Spit in Your Grave is not a feel-good movie, but it's not trying to be. However, there are gripes I have with it other than its tendency to turn my stomach. For starters, the acting is hit and miss. It's not too terrible overall, but there are some performances that are simply bad and feel at odds with the rest of the film. The lack of a soundtrack and almost slice-of-life aspect of the opening left it feeling a lot more real than you might expect, especially for something as low budget as this. Secondly, I feel the ending is definitely a letdown. 4 guys get big fucking targets on their backs, and in horror, the bad guys getting gutted is one of the big draws. However, only 2 of the kills really satisfy that sadistic itch. The first 2, specifically, Jennifer scopes, plans, draws out, and deceives the men before taking them out in adequately gruesome fashion. The last 2, chop chop, the end. Sure, the movie might have dragged on for a while, those took just as long, but oh dear God, did they earn it. Overall, I Spit on Your Grave is not, I repeat, not for everyone. Probably not even for most people. However, what it sets out to do, it does well, and definitely leaves an impact. The hit-and-miss acting and somewhat underwhelming ending does get in the way, though, coming in at 3 perfectly planned penis partings of piss-poor parents out of 5. And over the years, its reputation has changed from absolutely horrible, worst movie ever, to shocking and disturbing, but it makes a point. Like throwing roadkill on your bed to get you to clean your room. Thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado. And remember, there are only so many things that smiley faces can fix.